Welcome to the Mariners postgame show on King 5 Plus. There will be a Game 5 in the ALDS. The Mariners started strong today in Detroit, built a 3-0 lead, and then all of a sudden the bullpen melted down. The Tigers rallied for 9 unanswered runs and belted the Mariners 9-3 to force that Game 5 at T-Mobile Park Friday. So still a lot to look forward to for Mariners fans. Just today, it did not happen. They started strong. Bryce Miller got the start. He pitched into the 5th inning, which is exactly what the Mariners were hoping he would do. And he gave up just 2 runs on 4 hits. And it looked like everything was going their way because Cal Raleigh and the gang had that 3-0 lead. But then things just kind of fell apart. Dan Wilson used 3 different DHs today. And 3 of the guys, Dom Canzone drove in a run, but Mitch Garver, Luke Raley were 0 for. So basically 1 hit among those 3 designated hitters. So a little bit of a play in lineups on both sides. A.J. Hinch doing what he needed to do to spark that Tigers offense because they have been in a slumber. They hadn't won at Comerica Park in Detroit since September 6th. I mean, they've been brutal at home, and we all know the meltdown they had in the middle of the summer. They were up 14.5 games in their division and then had to sneak in to the playoffs at the end. So the Mariners just continued that beatdown on the Tigers, trying to keep them down and keep them from any kind of revival in this series. But all of a sudden, they finally win their first game at Comerica Park since early September. The offense comes alive, and now we've got a serious series. It is 2-2 coming down to Game 5 Friday at T-Mobile Park. Tigers had 13 hits in the game. Cal Raleigh had the RBI again. I talked about like Cal and Julio were always the big hitters in this series so far, but Julio 0 for today in Detroit. Tarek Skubal is who the Mariners are staring at going into Game 5. Skubal has not had the best luck against Seattle Mariners this season. And we're going to check out, continue here on this postgame show, but I'll tell you this, Skubal, 0 for 3. The Tigers are 0 for 3 when he started against the Mariners this season. So he's dominant against other teams, but doesn't have the best luck against the Mariners. That's who they're facing on Friday. The Mariners have not mentioned a starter for who's going to take the mound on Friday for them at T-Mobile Park. Let's go to Bridget Vasquez out there, and we'll have much more on what the Mariner fans are feeling after the watch party at T-Mobile Park. Bridget?
Yeah, I mean, out here it is very loud, not just because there's a drummer playing, but there is a very sad feeling of the fans that have been coming out of the ballpark from the watch party here today. You know, we've been talking to some of them. They're saying they're disappointed. They really wish that the Mariners would have clinched today, but they do feel hopeful that Friday, when they come back home, they'll be able to clinch and move on. Earlier today, we were talking with folks about some of their superstitions. People were very excited, so depending on how those folks are feeling over at Queen Anne Beer Hall, they may have to rethink some of those superstitions. We had one lady telling us that she wears a specific ring every time, and that means that the Mariners are going to win. She was wearing that ring today, so she may need to switch some stuff up there. But yeah, just out here, the vibe in general is not really what we were all hoping for today, but again, they may be able to turn stuff around when they come back here on Friday. That is what they're all hoping as we see more of these fans kind of stream out of the ballpark. Back to you.
For some screaming Mariner fans, it just didn't happen. They were loud early on, again with that 3-0 lead, but boy, 9 unanswered runs from the Tigers, and 9-3 was the final. Here's Dan Wilson after the game.
Start here with Dan. Dan, Gabe's been so effective for you all season, all series. Just what did you see from him out there in the 5th?
Yeah, I think, he has. You're right. He's thrown the ball incredibly well all season long. They were able to, get to him on a couple of pitches. Looked like, they were very aggressive on him and able to get some balls into the outfield really they were just able to get to our bullpen today, and it's been such a strength, and they have thrown the ball incredibly well all season long. And, one of the things our guys do the best is they bounce back, and we're going to do that, and no better place to do that than going back home and being able to do that at home and on Friday night will be what we need to do.
Why was that the best pocket for him against Meadows, knowing that Hinch can counter there versus maybe saving him for Carpenter and another later pinch hit?
Yeah, I mean, I think we anticipated that the move that they were going to pinch hit there, but still liked the way Gabe matches up, and he throws the ball so well, and has, right-handed, left-hand, doesn't matter, and they were able to get to him today.
Dan, you're up early. They come back, score so many right there. Just how challenging is it in a game like this to regain momentum there and try to kind of stem the tide?
Yeah, again, this is, postseason is about momentum and getting that momentum, and they were able to kind of turn the table there and get it. We weren't able to get back. Then they were able to score again and kind of spread the lead a little bit. But again, I think, it's up to us now to turn the table back and get back home, bounce back, and get in front of the home fans and feel their energy and come out Friday ready to go.
Dan, you mentioned bouncing back, and this has to be a pretty massive emotional blow considering you're so close to winning this series. But how do you go about bouncing back, and what's your message to those guys to try to further that? Yeah,
again, everything's in front of us, and these guys have done this all season long. Where they get in tough situations and they know exactly what to do, and they do fight back and they do bounce back, and I'm not worried about that at all, and no better place to do that than at home. So. I think we just continue to do the things we've been doing and just get back on the right track on Friday.
Dan, is there any inherent risk of showing the other team the relievers so often? Bizzardo's been in every game, Spire's been in 3. That they're going to get more familiar as the series goes on.
These guys have thrown the ball so well, I don't think that's a risk. These guys have done the job and thrown the ball extremely well, and today they just they were able to get to us, and like I said, we bounce back and come back on Friday.
Dan, going back to T-Mobile on Friday, you're probably going to see Skubal. Do you guys have an idea of who you're going to match up with him?
Yeah, we'll announce that, coming up. But I think we've been able to get to Skubal throughout, and we have another chance to do that on Friday. And offensively, we've done some really good things in this series, and continue to do some of those things today. So we will certainly be ready on Friday.
Dan, what did you see from Bryce? It looked like he was giving you kind of what you want, and were you seeing something you felt like it was time to go get him at that point?
Yeah, he was throwing the ball well. I thought, used his fastball extremely well, had good life to it. Thought he threw some good splits. It was a really good pitch for him. Kind of able to neutralize the lefties as he went through that. He was working quickly. Was pretty efficient getting through that lineup there, and they were able to get a couple guys on. Just felt like the right time to go get Gabe and be ready for that that left-handed pocket coming up. Yeah, thanks.
So a tough one for Dan Wilson and the Mariners today. They lose it 9-3 to set up a Game 5 at T-Mobile Park. Well, Comerica Park was the place to be last night for one Mariners fan in Detroit. He caught Cal Raleigh's 61st home run ball, all while wearing a custom shirt that said, "Dump 61 here." King 5's Chris Egan caught up with the fan after the game.
Okay, tell us about the shirt and just how you came with this design.
I made the shirt and the number 62 for after I catch the 61. I made it last week because I went to the final regular season game in Seattle, and this is just overwhelming. So I decided to fly out here and see if I could get one more shot, and it's unbelievable.
He hits take me through the home run, and then
so I told the lady next to me, I said, okay, this is my shot. He's going to hit me a home run right now, and it landed in the bullpen and bounced right up to me. I caught it in my glove, so it's like I'm still in shock right now.
So you had these custom made?
I made them myself.
You made them yourself?
Got the Cricut machine and made it at home.
Looked like the bullpen reacted. They realized what had happened. Did you have any interaction?
Yeah,
with them?
they were loving it. They were just all giving me thumbs up, like they couldn't believe it either. It's just
you were obviously in the first row of left field, which required a lot of power to go opposite.
Yeah.
Did you think it was going to happen, or were you pretty surprised by that?
I was very surprised because when I went to Seattle, I got a ticket in right field, thinking I'd have a better shot, especially when he's batting left. But I found the first row there right behind the bullpen. I'm like, okay, well maybe he'll just knock a miracle one back there, and I guess that's what happened.
How impressed are you that Cal can follow directions as well as he can?
I waved at him when he came up. Maybe he saw me and hit it right to me. It was Babe Ruth over there.
We haven't asked, are you giving him the vault?
If he wants it, I'll give it to him. If he wants to sign it for me, I'll keep it.
How far up do these numbers go? Are you going to go to any more games? Do you
Well,
have 63s,
I haven't considered that. I wasn't going to go to tomorrow's game, but I might have to change my plans.
Much more to come on the Mariners postgame show here on King 5 Plus. We'll go back to Comerica Park and hear from today's starting pitcher, Bryce Miller, who had 4 1/3 innings under his belt today and gave the Mariners a chance out of the gate. It just didn't happen. They lose 9-3 again to force a Game 5. There's a watch party over at T-Mobile Park, as always. Bridget Chavez is over there with those Mariners fans, and we'll hear from them coming up after the break. Welcome back to the Mariners postgame show on King 5 Plus. Bryce Miller got the start today in Detroit. He threw 4 1/3 innings. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, so he gave the Mariners a solid start. They just could not back it up in the bullpen because there was an absolute meltdown at Comerica Park as the Tigers won it 9-3. Here's Bryce Miller after the game. Probably how Bryce is feeling right now, a little in the shadows as the Mariners lost to the Tigers 9-3. Here's A.J. Hinch, the manager of the Tigers, who's in a much better mood today.
Not much to cover.
Not much to cover. We've talked throughout about Riley, how big of a break of a seal moment was that just for him to get that blast?
I mean, first off, he's incredible. And I know, it's been some tough times or some a few games but he never concedes, and he is a tough kid. He's had to endure a lot. I play him every day. He's in the middle of the order. He gets managed against, and he comes up big right when you need it. So that was a big swing, but that was one of many parts of this game and many parts of our roster who contributed to a big win in the biggest win of the year. So proud of our guys because today's game was symbolic of how we roll. It's a lot of different guys doing something positive, multiple guys getting on base, lead off batter on base 5 innings in a row. an entire bullpen. Troy Melton on 3 days rest. Will coming in a big game. I mean, I could go on the entire time because of how many guys did something positive.
AJ, back here. Just it was kind of the tale, as you mentioned, of 2 games. When you guys were down 3-0, that crowd was getting a little irate. And for you guys to be able to put the offensive explosion up and kind of win them back, could you kind of just talk about that?
I mean, obviously, this is an emotional game for everybody, fans included. And everybody's kind of living on every pitch. And in the dugout, you try not to ride that emotion just because the 27 outs are going to be played regardless. And you got to keep fighting. And it's hard, we knew our season was on the line. This is not the first elimination game that we've played this postseason, and our guys stayed loose and stayed in the game and came up with some really big pitches and some big swings, and you need all of it. And obviously, I know how much this matters to our fan base, to our city, to our season. And we're one more win away from bringing baseball back to Comerica again.
Yeah, AJ, before the floodgates opened up, Jahmai Jones, that big pinch hit, just talk about what he's meant to this team.
Yeah, he's been a big part, and he patiently waits every day for his opportunity, and whether it's it's pushed a little closer to the middle of the game now with the urgency of the playoffs, but generally it's against back-end left-handed relievers in a critical moment of the game, and he knows the strike zone, he knows where the barrel is, he's unafraid. And he's fully prepared. And so as that inning was building, it was a lot. It was Dingler's base hit. It was, we needed to chip away is what it felt like. And Jahmai comes up big with another pinch hit. So it's his role. He's really good at it. There's a reason why we stay consistent with giving him those opportunities is because of his impact. And, obviously was a big part of this win.
A.J. Hinch and the Tigers keep their season alive as they force a Game 5 at T-Mobile Park, and that's where we're heading right now. Bridget Chavez out there trying to find some smiling Mariners fans and hopefully at least some optimistic ones. Bridget?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of fans left outside the ballpark right now. Maybe a few left lingering over there with the drummer that's playing. But like you mentioned, a lot of the fans coming out of the ballpark today just had long faces, frowns on their faces. But for the most part, when I asked them how they're feeling, they said they're disappointed, but they are looking forward to Friday, and they believe that the Mariners will be able to pull this off come Friday. Now, again, we've been able to catch up with fans today all day around here at the Queen Anne Beer Hall. Folks are just excited. They have their rituals in place, and they do believe that this can actually be turned around come Friday. Again, this is not the celebration that anybody was hoping for today outside of T-Mobile Park, but there is still one more game, so we'll see what ends up happening come Friday. Back to you.
I can only hope. When you're a reporter outside a baseball stadium and you're hoping your team wins and get some fans out there, it just didn't happen for Bridget today, and it didn't happen for the Mariners as they lose 9-3. Again, Bryce Miller got the start in this when he pitched 4 1/3 innings. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, and he started out pretty strong. He just did not, his bullpen didn't follow it up with a strong showing, and that was uncharacteristic because the Mariners bullpen has pitched well late in the season and throughout so far this postseason. Here's Bryce Miller after the game.
Yeah, just obviously what you were seeing. Obviously, you were dealing for such a long time in this outing, and had some great defense behind you as well. Just what you were seeing in this outing.
Yeah, no, I thought it's the best I've felt in a long time, and I thought I threw the ball really well. Fastball was playing really good, splitter was good, and this past few weeks I was working on getting off speed in zone, and I was doing that, and I thought I attacked hitters pretty good and was in the zone a lot. So I think. I don't know. Regular season, I think I go 6-7 innings there, and we're in a good spot. But I was happy with my outing.
Yeah, in larger picture, certainly it's not something you think about in the immediate aftermath. But we've seen this team bounce back time and time again. It's just the idea of this team keeping that mentality and keeping even keeled after a tough loss. What's that like right now?
Yeah, for sure. We've said it before. We got a lot of confidence in this clubhouse, and I got no doubt we're going to bounce back and go to Game 5, and we'll have some fun in Seattle.
How about having that opportunity to close it out in Seattle on Friday?
Yeah, it's going to be electric. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to it. It's more fun to win at home anyways, so we'll do that.
That's a good attitude right there. Bryce Miller and the Mariners returning home for a Game 5. 47,000 fans will be screaming over at T-Mobile Park on Friday. Tarek Skubal gets the start for the Tigers. Dan Wilson has not announced who his starter will be in that critical Game 5. Here's J.P. Crawford.
Friday. That's all what it comes down to. And, we got to prepare tomorrow and, get after it.
This series feels like it's been one full of momentum. Now you have one more opportunity to bring that back and do it in front of what we know is going to be a great atmosphere Friday. How much are you thinking about that, and how much will that boost this team?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We play really well at our park. Our fans make it really fun, and, the vibes are great. So, we go into Friday with a positive mindset.
Bryce, you're saying it's more fun to clinch at home anyway, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. Would have rather gotten it done tonight, but, it is what it is.
Just another opportunity. And certainly, speaking of Bryce's first playoff outing, he was really dealing for a while there, and he had some great defense behind him. How special was that to see?
Yeah, that was really cool to see him attacking for pitch one until, the fifth inning whenever he came out. He had all of his pitches working, and, they were missing a lot, so it was good.
In a series like this where we've kind of seen a little bit of everything, how much experience, okay, you guys have seen it all, right? And how much does that prepare you for this Game 5, winner take all that good stuff?
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of vets in here, so we got to keep a positive mindset, and, it is what it is, and, we can't wait to play Friday.
As Bryce Miller alluded to earlier, he would love to lock it all up Friday at home in front of 47,000 fans at T-Mobile Park. They are rabid fans as well, but every once in a while you find someone who gets really emotional about a Mariners win, and that's what happened in Sunday's win as he captured hearts across the country. His tearful celebration caught on national television went viral. King 5 Sebastian Robertson has that story.
It's been said there's no crying in baseball. This weekend, Mariners fans proving that old saying is wrong. One fan in particular.
There is so much crying as a Mariners fan, and I don't really remember it. Cal hit the double, and he did what he's done all year, and then Julio did it. And, you just gotta cry, man, I guess. It's really stupid, but I'm a Mariners fan.
Spade's moment of raw human emotion was captured on live national television. Moments after Mariners scored on an RBI double. Julio Rodriguez lined one into left to drive in Cal Raleigh for the lead.
There's been a lot of frustration for a passionate group of fans that just want to be rewarded. And the energy and in the environment that was there this weekend, the fans almost willing the team to victory on Sunday night. Yeah, I understand how that becomes an emotional moment for any fan.
This moment posted to social media, shared on sites like Reddit and X, has since gone viral. The lifelong Seattle Mariners supporter has become the face of an elated fan base. Those were happy tears, by the way.
We have so many things we argue about and so many things that split us up, and it's just me and my partner going to that game that we needed to win, that we finally won. And we should cry, and we should all hug, and the bandwagon has room enough for every member in Seattle and in Oregon and in Idaho.
Spady was born and raised in Seattle. He's the grandson of the founders of Dick's Drive-In. For him, seeing the Mariners in the postseason is more than enough to bring a grown man to tears.
Well, hopefully he's got tears, laughter, smiles, and plenty of cheers on Friday night after Game 5 at T-Mobile Park. Tarek Skubal, defending Cy Young champ, is going to be on the mound for the Tigers. He has faced the Mariners 3 times this season, has lost all 3. And someone on social asked ChatGPT the chances of the Mariners beating Skubal a 4th time this season. It's 1.5%, but you know how AI is. That's the way that goes. Here's Skubal after today's game.
Ups and downs for sure, like anybody watching it, but it was a ton of fun, obviously, to come out on the side that we came out on after being down 3-0, and you almost felt like the season was coming to an end for our guys to battle back and keep grinding, I think was huge for us.
Tarek, what was it like to see Riley's home run? Obviously he grounded out in the 4th inning and there was some boos, and then the 6th inning comes around and there's a ton of cheers. What was it like to see him come through in that moment?
Yeah, I saw the swing, heard it. I thought the ball went to left center, and then I had enough time to figure out where the ball was, and that was way back. So, big swing. That's the guy he is. At any given point, he can run the ball out of the yard, and he's done that all year long for us.
What do you see when Troy Melton takes the mound? It feels like he's like a sneaky assassin out there that has just risen through the ranks lately.
Yeah, I think. I see what I have the pleasure of going to work with him every single day. So that none of that is surprising to me. It doesn't seem like the moment gets too big for him. He just focused on what he does, and that's throwing strikes, going right after guys, getting into leverage, doing all the things that pitching is all about. So it's fun to watch, especially he was kind of thrown into the fire, for us in terms of coming up and a couple starts and then thrown right into leverage innings for us, and he's been great through it all. And I think that just speaks to probably his preparation and who he is as a person.
Derek, Game 5 ALDS, you kind of been there not that long ago.
Yeah.
A lot has happened between then and now. How are you kind of facing this challenge? And whatever happened last year in Game 5, no motivation, just kind of, this is a new start for you. Nothing mattered from previous.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you guys create the narrative. I'm going to just do what I do best, and that's play baseball and try to execute pitches. That's when I'm at my best. The game's still the game. But, yeah, I'll let you guys write the stories and do your guys' jobs, but you're not going to get anything from me.
Well, maybe I'll try, but just to follow up to that, have you taken anything out of those winner-take-all games that you think gives you not an edge, but the experience to know even more exactly what to expect?
Yeah, like I've said before, I mean, the experience of playoff baseball, I understand winner go-home games are a little bit different, but every game means a ton. So it's not like Game 1 or Game 2 or Game 3 are any different than Game 5, in terms of wins and losses. But the game stays the game, and that's kind of what you're going to hear me reiterate is I just need to be focused on, being pitch by pitch and trying to execute the game plan that, that we'll create. So that's all I got for you.
I remember you told us after the game Sunday in Seattle that, once the plane landed back in Detroit, you were going to go to the park and begin your routine for your next start. Even then, did you have this in your mind, even as a strong possibility, just to start preparing for a Game 5?
Yeah, I mean that's where I was at mentally. Obviously, I would have loved to win the last two games and be going to celebrating right now and popping bottles, but that's just not in the cards, and that's okay. But yeah, I mean I flew back, got back to work. My routine has stayed the same. Just a little bit long travel day there, but it's all right. We'll be ready to go on Friday.
Derek Skubal talking today as he gets set to pitch Game 5 at T-Mobile Park. Again, we've talked about it. Derek Skubal, the Tigers are 0-3 against the Mariners this season when Skubal is on the mound. So he would obviously like to flip the script and do something strong on Friday at T-Mobile Park when they get that thing going. Again, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. Dan Wilson and the Mariners have not announced who their starter is going to be for that one. Whoever gets the rock on that night, it's going to be a lot of pressure and a lot of excitement in front of 47,000 fans at T-Mobile Park. And though the excitement continues, the team's playoff run has turned bittersweet for one fan. Dan Carroll's collection of rare memorabilia was stolen from a storage unit inside his Mercer Island condo. Here's Jim Nelson once again on the heartbreak for one longtime superfan.
A nearly 3-hour rain delay.
If I'd known I was going to be on TV so much today, I would have shaved.
Couldn't keep these diehards away.
That's the opening line of the story.
Cheering the M's on from halfway across the country.
At least I took a shower.
This guy needs a pick-me-up.
It's hard to describe, really.
Daniel Carroll co-founded the Maple Grove, the cheering section for the Big Maple, former Mariners pitcher James Paxton. This week, Carroll discovered more than a dozen jerseys and other items were stolen from his storage unit at his Mercer Island condo building.
I hope I can recover a couple of things, especially the really unique things. The Paxton sign thing is just, it's not something you can do that moment again exactly, so that'd be really nice to get back. The King Felix one, because that took a lot of effort to find a yellow jersey and all the pieces. The rest of it, okay, whatever.
That King Felix jersey was custom.
And I was like, no way. That one too? That one too? You've got to be kidding. Like that, my heart really sank on that one.
But he's here.
Lovely to be in the ballpark in October. I used to work down in Pioneer Square, and I would walk past the stadium every day going into work going, someday I'm going to be in that building, and it's going to be freaking great.
Taking in the moments.
Hey, we got a hit. Maybe a double. Yeah. Good job, Victor. Atta it, kid.
And distractions. Personal favors.
Let it breathe.
Aren't at the top of the M's list right now.
Bottom of the lineup showing up.
But winning.
We could go deep. We could go deep. This could be it.
Sure eases the pain.
A passionate group for sure, those Mariners fans, and they're hoping to bring that Game 5 win Friday night at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners used 4 relievers today after Bryce Miller left after his 4 1/3 innings of work. Gabe Spire was the first one to take the mound as a reliever today, and he did not have his best stuff. He's been good in this series so far, but today he just goes 2/3 of an inning. He gives up 2 runs on 3 hits and a walk. So Spire, normally sharp in the postseason, was not that sharp today, and the Tigers took advantage of it. Here's Gabe after the game.
Already, just how much facing guys multiple times, them seeing you, knowing what you're going to do. There aren't really any secrets this time of the series, this time of the season. How much does that kind of factor into these matchups?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think more so today it was just came down to execution. I don't think I made great pitches, and they got them.
Did you figure that there was a chance that they were going to pinch hit right when you got into the game as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been talked about kind of all series long. I've been preparing for Jones, and I think he just kind of ambushed me. I gave him a good pitch to hit, but he kind of ambushed me and got me.
How do you make those adjustments when location's a struggle in the middle of a tense atmosphere as well?
Yeah, I think just falling back on my conviction, just trying to attack the best I can, and I felt like I was doing that today, honestly, but the pitches just weren't going where they should, and like I said, they just hit him and they got him.
Dave, did it seem on the whole that they did get more aggressive, particularly with the pen today?
Yeah, it seemed that way. I think, it's like we've been talking about workload. I think everyone's a little tired, but, that's no excuse, honestly. We just need to execute a little bit better. I think, we can make better pitches, and honestly, all my mind is on right now is Friday.
What is it? This is the life you live. This is your profession. You're going to get knocked down sometimes. Just what is the process for you to bounce back and get ready again Friday, knowing that your name's probably going to be called?
Yeah, like you said, it's part of it. And, all we can do is just, really just fall back on plan A's, attacking the zone. We all got good stuff, and just trusting it and attacking with it.
How much do you guys embrace that opportunity on Friday in front of a home?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think everyone's excited to get back to Seattle and take this one home for Seattle.
How would you describe the emotional swings in this series? I mean, they're up, you tie, you're up, they tie. It's been a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, Detroit's a good team. They put together a lot of good at-bats today, and, it's a 5-game series. It would be great to, win all 3, but this is just kind of the way it goes, I feel like. And, they're a good team. They've battled, and I think we battled too, and it's just gone back and forth like that, and that's just kind of how it's gone.
When you look at the makeup of this team, what makes you confident that you guys have one more bounce back in you?
Yeah, absolutely. We've done it all year. I don't see why anything's going to change. I think everyone, like I said, is really excited to get back to Seattle and put on a show for our home crowd and get the people in the seats rooting for us and not rooting against us. It's big playing in Seattle, so we're looking forward to it.
Spoken like a true veteran there, Gabe Spire. Again, 2/3 of an inning today. He gives up a couple of runs in Detroit. The bullpen gave up 7 unanswered runs today, so a bit of a meltdown for the pen. And again, something the Mariners fans are not used to seeing. And but it was interesting to hear his take, because he knows the Tigers are a good team. It's not some lucky team over there that just happened to get their bat on the ball a few times today. They get paid to make plays too. So he knows that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose when it comes to facing batter after batter. And he lost against several of the Tigers hitters today. Cal Raleigh just around the corner, so stay with us. between Cal Raleigh and Julio. They had one hit today. Cal with the RBI single to help the Mariners get that 3-0 lead in Detroit. But again, the Tigers responded with 9 unanswered runs to beat the Mariners today, 9-3. That sets up a Game 5 Friday at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners season has been special in many ways, especially for the kids at Seattle Children's who have formed a special bond with a Mariners coach. It's not unusual for professional teams to do outreach with local hospitals just to help deliver a few extra smiles. Here's King.
The Mariners' first division title in 24 years is well within reach. A chance to seize the moment.
What's going on?
That might as well be the mantra of bullpen coach Tony Arnerich.
If I can bring them some hope and some smiles again, that's what it's all about.
He's made a habit of visiting kids at Seattle Children's to lift their spirits. He's also invited kids to meet the team.
Really, that they're born with something.
This is Cove. He's 13 months. He just learned to crawl.
Cove and his family made the trip from Kent earlier this season.
He was born essentially with a half of a heart.
They were invited after stumbling across Arnerich's story on social media.
It's just kind of felt like you feel seen, and we always want him to feel normal, but to be also like appreciated for, the things that he's gone through. So, yeah.
And in the process, they've met somebody who's fought some of those same battles.
To know someone's thriving and doing well, is a public figure, and has a great life and has gone through something similar, that gives hope.
Arnerich is that public figure.
So when I was born, they told my parents I had a heart condition, and so when I was 2, I had open heart surgery, and then they said eventually you're probably going to have your valve replaced.
In 2012, he had more surgery, but that time there were complications.
It didn't look good for a while, but I was able to luckily, get through it and come out on the other side, and now I'm here, and I feel like I owe it to a lot of people to give back because I'm really fortunate to be here.
Seizing the moment.
So many great stories of that Mariners organization on and off the field, and that was just another one thanks to Jim Nelson on that one. Well, the Mariners are hoping to have one more great story this season, and that would be a win Friday night in Game 5 at T-Mobile Park. Cal Raleigh obviously has been a key for this team all season long and a key throughout this postseason. Here he is after today's game.
Bryce's first postseason start. What did you see from him today?
I thought he threw the ball well. Thought he was mixing really good. Made some good pitches. Gave that one hard hit to Dingler that scored the run, and that was really the only mistake.
Cal, what are the emotions like in a game like this where you guys get the commanding lead early, they come back, and the crowd gets back into it, just all the ups and downs of today?
Took the lead and couldn't hold it, so it's unfortunate, but flush it and go to the game on Friday. So.
Spire, this art opened so good. What did you see from them today? Do you think just the familiarity might be helping them?
But it goes both ways. So, they've been throwing the ball good all year. I have confidence they'll bounce back on Friday for sure.
Speaking of bouncing back, we've seen you guys do that so many times this year, and obviously it's tough maybe in the immediate aftermath, but that is certainly the mindset moving forward that we've seen you guys do this before. What does it take? What is it special about this team that has allowed you to do that so much this season?
Yeah, we got a lot of resiliency in this club, and I have confidence in the guys that we're going to go out and play good baseball. We know it's going to be tough, but we're up for the challenge, and that's what you have to do this time of year. You have to face good pitching, you face good teams, and there's going to be challenges and bumps in the road, and we're up for it for Friday. Yeah.
No starter name, whether it be Kirby or Luis, how much, or both, a little bit of both, how much confidence in those two right now?
Yeah, we have lots of confidence in all of our guys. So, they both, I thought, threw the ball really well the first time. So, but it's Game 5, anything can happen, one game series. So go out there, give it your best go, and, from there, that's all you can do.
Bryce said it's more fun to clinch at home anyway, right? Certainly having those fans behind you, how much will that do for this team?
Cal Raleigh speaking after today's 9-3 loss to the Tigers. By the way, Cal is far and away the leading hitter on this Mariners team in the postseason. He's hitting .438, so he's tearing it up on offense. Defensively, he's been doing it all season long. He is the only catcher in the majors with no passed balls this season, and he continues to play tough defensively and offensively. The Mariners will need all that Friday night, Game 5 at T-Mobile Park, as they try to close out this series and advance to the American League Championship Series. Thanks for watching this special Mariners postgame show. I'm Paul Sylvie, and this is King 5 Plus.